You know that incredible, almost addictive flavor in your favorite bag of chips? Or maybe that really deep, satisfying richness you get in say, a gourmet plant-based burger. Well, it's often not just the main ingredients doing the heavy lifting. There's this whole hidden world of flavor architects at play, kind of the unsung heroes making our food really, sing. Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on something huge, a multi-billion-dollar industry you might not think about much. We're talking about the global savory ingredient market. And look, when we say savory ingredients, we're going way beyond just salt and pepper here. We mean things like yeast extracts, HVPs, that's hydrolyzed vegetable proteins, specific natural flavor compounds, umami boosters, basically all the stuff used in everything from processed snacks and ready meals to those new plant-based foods, sauces, you name it. So our mission today, to really uncover the key drivers, the surprising hotspots in this fascinating sector, we want to give you a shortcut to understanding this pretty essential global trend. And we're basing this deep dive on some really precise data, forecasts from cognitive market research. We've got numbers from 2021, projections for 2025, and forecasts stretching all the way out to 2033. And just to give you a sense of scale before we jump in, this market, it was already valued at over $10 billion globally back in 2021, and it's set to get much, much bigger. Okay, so let's unpack this. Globally, what's the big picture? What does this market look like right now? And where's it heading over the next decade or so?
Absolutely. So globally, as you said, it was just under $10.5 billion in 2021, $10,487.5 million to be exact.
Okay.
But here's where it gets interesting. By 2025, the projection is it climbs to over $12.7 billion. That's $12,733.6 million. And then it really takes off. The forecast for 2033, nearly $18.8 billion, $18,771.8 million.
Wow.
Yeah, and this steady climb is underpinned by a compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of almost 5%, 4.971%, actually.
Okay, nearly 5%. That's pretty solid, consistent growth, isn't it?
It really is. Think of it as this robust fundamental expansion. It tells us the demand for these complex savory flavors is really growing worldwide.
So it's a powerful growth story then. Savory isn't just a taste profile anymore. It's clearly a major economic engine, driving serious revenue. What does that kind of growth hint at, in terms of consumer shifts or bigger industry trends?
Precisely. That consistency, that growth rate, it really speaks volumes about how our global food habits are changing. It points towards, well, an increasing reliance on manufactured foods, convenience items, maybe more dining out, all areas that lean heavily on these ingredients for consistent, appealing taste profiles.
Right.
And it's also about, global palates maybe getting a bit more adventurous. Plus, the huge rise in demand for really good plant-based alternatives. Those often need sophisticated savory ingredients to mimic traditional meat flavors effectively.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, this is where I think it gets really fascinating. When you break this down by region, some areas are just, well, exploding with growth, aren't they? Way faster than others. So which regions are really pushing this market forward? What's making them tick?
Right. Well, when you look at the high-growth powerhouses, Asia-Pacific jumps out immediately.
Okay.
It's not just the biggest market share-wise. It's also booming in terms of growth rate. It's projected to grow from about $7.1 billion in 2021 all the way up to over $13.2 billion by 2033.
$13 billion.
Yeah, and it boasts the highest regional CGR overall, just over 5.3%, 5.319%. What's really striking within APAC are countries like China and India. China's market is set to jump from around $2.3 billion to nearly $4.4 billion. And India, from about $777 million to over $1.6 billion, both basically doubling.
Incredible. What's driving that specifically in Asia Pacific?
It's a combination of things, really. Rapid urbanization is a big one, a growing middle class with more disposable income, and just this massive shift towards packaged foods, convenience foods, eating out, all needing those consistent enhanced flavors. And you see strong growth elsewhere, too, like Japan going from $1 billion to $1.7 billion, South Korea from $684 million to nearly $1.2 billion, Southeast Asia combined jumping from $527 million to over $1 billion. It's widespread growth.
Okay, so Asia Pacific is a clear leader, but you mentioned the highest growth rate might be elsewhere.
That's right. If you look purely at the CAGR, the compound annual growth rate, South America actually takes the top spot. Yeah, an impressive rate of almost 5.5%. 5.483%. Now, the overall market size is smaller, starting at about $367 million in 2021, but it's projected to nearly double, hitting almost $700 million by 2033.
Okay, interesting. Which countries are driving that?
Brazil's the largest player. They're expected to go from around $160 million to over $300 million by 2033. But you also see strong growth in Argentina, Colombia, Peru, Chile. They're all contributing to that high regional rate.
And the drivers there, similar to Asia.
Somewhat similar, yeah.
Yeah.
Changing dietary habits, definitely more demand for convenience foods, and maybe a growing appreciation for diverse and satisfying flavors as the economies develop there.
Got it. Any other high growth regions we should highlight?
The Middle East also shows really strong expansion. It's growing from just over $262 million in 2021 to predicted $491 million by 2033. That's a CAGR of over 5.3% as well.
Yeah.
So very robust. Key countries there include Saudi Arabia, which is set to almost double its market size, Turkey, the UAE. The growth there often links to rising incomes, developing food service sectors, and a growing interest in global food trends that use these kinds of flavor bases.
Right. So it's really clear that these, let's call them emerging economies, are seeing phenomenal growth, just explosive reshaping the whole flavor map. But what about the more established markets, places like North America, Europe, Africa? How are they doing in this dynamic picture? Are the trends different there?
That's a great point because while their growth rates, their TGRs, might be a bit lower, they're definitely not standing still. They're showing consistent, pretty significant expansion, just maybe driven by slightly different factors. Take Africa, for instance. It's showing steady growth. Expected to expand from around $325 million in 2021 to nearly $600 million by 2033. That's a CAGR of just over 4.5%. Solid growth. Key players there are South Africa, projected to double its market to about $226 million, and Nigeria, also seeing strong growth towards $105 million. The drivers, often growing populations, increasing food processing capabilities locally, and just a rising demand for more diverse food products.
Makes sense. What about Europe? That's a huge food market traditionally.
Europe is definitely seeing substantial expansion too. It's projected to grow from just under $1 billion in 2021 to over $1.5 billion by 2033.
Still significant growth.
Absolutely. The CAGR is a bit lower, around 3.9%, but the base is large. You've got major markets like Germany heading towards $380 million, the UK towards $260 million by 2033, France, Italy, Spain, they're all growing steadily too.
And the focus there, what's driving European growth?
Often it's innovation. Big focus on areas like sophisticated plant-based alternatives, clean label ingredients.
Clean label.
Exactly. And also premium convenience foods. In all these areas, those foundational savory elements are crucial for consumer acceptance, for taste.
Okay. And finally, North America, the big one.
North America, yeah.
Yeah.
Historically dominant and still showing robust growth. It's expected to rise from about $1.4 billion in 2021 to over $2.1 billion by 2033. The CAGR there is around 3.6%.
Still growing steadily then.
Definitely. The U.S. naturally is the giant, projected to reach almost $1.8 billion itself by 2033. But Canada and Mexico are also showing healthy growth, moving towards $220 million and $167 million respectively.
And the drivers in such a mature market.
Continued strong demand for snacks, ready meals,
Yeah.
that convenience factor is huge, plus ongoing innovation, especially around health-conscious options, sustainable products. But they still have to deliver on taste, right? That's where savory ingredients remain key.
So, okay, we've covered the globe, seen billions of dollars, different growth speeds, but consistent growth everywhere. What does this all really mean for you, our listener? It's fascinating that every region, every country seems to be part of this rising global demand for savory. It's truly universal.
Yeah, and that raises a really important question, doesn't it? Why? Why is this market growing so consistently everywhere? It's clearly not just about population growth or producing more food overall. It speaks to these fundamental shifts in how we eat globally. You know, the rise of convenience culture, urbanization, pulling people away from traditional cooking maybe.
Right.
And the explosion in new dietary choices, like we mentioned, the plant-based movement is huge. All these trends rely on ingredients that can deliver consistent, appealing, often complex flavors, reliably and at scale. That's what these savory ingredients do.
So it makes mass-produced food taste good, essentially.
In a nutshell, yes.
Yeah.
But it's more nuanced, too. It's about enhancing experiences. If you connect it to the bigger picture, it really suggests this widespread, robust demand for enhanced flavor experiences. We're talking complex, satisfying, umami-rich tastes. People across incredibly diverse cultures and economies seem to be actively seeking these out and valuing them more in their daily diets.
Whether that's in traditional dishes or totally new food products.
Exactly. It spans the whole spectrum.
Okay, so let's quickly recap then. The Global Savory Ingredient Market. It's massive, it's expanding steadily. We're seeing really explosive growth projected in Asia Pacific, South America, and the Middle East. That's often fueled by rapid economic shifts and changing consumer habits.
Right. And meanwhile, the established markets, North America and Europe, they're continuing their strong, if maybe slightly slower expansion, often driven more by innovation, premiumization, and specific consumer demands like health or sustainability.
But the bottom line is it's undeniably a fundamental and growing piece of the global food industry's future.
No doubt about it.
So here's something for you to think about. Given this really consistent global growth in savory ingredients, driven by all these diverse factors, how might these trends shape the future? Think about global agriculture, maybe food innovation pipelines, even our own everyday diets over the next decade. What new savory experiences, what new tastes might be just around the corner for you as flavor science keeps evolving? Have you ever stopped to think about how the world's flavors just seem to appear on your plate?
Yeah, often in food that's, super convenient.
Exactly. Or how even a simple snack can taste surprisingly complex and, frankly, delicious.
hmm There's actually a whole hidden world behind that.
We're talking about the global savory ingredients market.
It's a really fascinating industry and one that maybe doesn't get a lot of headlines, but it's constantly changing.
Right. This isn't just about, say, adding a bit of salt or pepper.
No, not at all. It's this really dynamic landscape. You've got innovation happening all the time, changing consumer tastes, and just that modern reality that, well, everyone's short on time.
So, our mission for this deep dive is really to unpack that. We want to pull out the key insights from the sources you've shared with us.
Yeah, try to understand the dynamics,
Oh.
what's driving it, and importantly, what challenges it's facing.
And we should mention, a lot of the detail for this discussion comes from cognitive market research. They've done some really thorough analysis here.
They have. And when you look at what's really pushing growth, the biggest factor is undoubtedly the demand for processed foods.
Ready-to-eat meals, snacks, that kind of thing.
Exactly. It really comes down to this idea that for so many people today, time is the ultimate luxury.
We're all looking for quick solutions for meals, right?
We are, but here's the key thing. People aren't willing to sacrifice taste for speed. Not anymore.
That's crucial, isn't it? It has to be fast and good.
Precisely. And that's where savory ingredients really step up. They're kind of the unsung heroes.
What exactly falls under that umbrella?
Oh, all sorts. Sophisticated flavor enhancers, complex spice blends, things called taste modulators.
Okay.
These aren't just minor additions. They're absolutely vital for creating that depth, the aroma, the overall appeal in packaged food.
So they're what make your favorite snack so more-ish, or a ready-made soup taste, while comforting and rich?
Yes. Or the complexity you might find in a quick sauce, or even a full ready meal. Savory ingredients are essentially the architects building that flavor experience.
Interesting. And where is this demand strongest? Is it everywhere?
It's definitely growing globally, but our sources show it's particularly strong in urban areas, densely populated places,
Okay.
and also in emerging economies. You've got rising disposable incomes, meeting busier lifestyles, and that combination is really changing how people eat.
So as this trend towards convenience keeps going,
Which it shows every sign of doing.
then the market for these ingredients is just set to keep expanding?
That's the projection. It's directly linked. Continued growth seems very likely.
Okay, so convenience is a massive driver. But there's something else happening too, right? The sense that our tastes are getting more global.
Oh, absolutely. That's another really compelling factor, the growing popularity of global flavors.
It does feel like the world's more connected, and our food reflects that.
It really does. And consumers, they seem much more curious now, more willing to experiment with bolder tastes, authentic flavors, sometimes quite exotic things from different parts of the world.
Can you give some examples? What kind of flavor diversity are we talking about?
Well, it's pretty broad.
Yeah.
Think about the real umami kick you get from fermented miso, or the brightness of Mediterranean herbs,
Yeah.
or maybe the smoky, deep richness you find in some Latin American spices.
So people are actively seeking these out now.
They are, and the industry's responding. They're not just reacting passively. They're actively tailoring savory ingredients to capture the essence of specific regional cuisines.
Ah, so they can create authentic tastes or even fusion dishes.
Exactly. It lets food brands really target those more adventurous eaters wherever they are.
And it feels like this trend is picking up speed, doesn't it?
Definitely. You've got international food trends spreading faster than ever.
Global restaurant chains probably play a role.
Huge role. And don't underestimate social media. Food influencers showing off their latest finds.
Ah, yeah, you see that everywhere.
It all fuels this appetite for culinary exploration. It's like you said, our grocery stores are becoming little gateways to the world.
I had this soup recently with a really authentic harissa spice blend. Just a simple soup, but the flavor, it honest felt like it took me straight to North Africa for a second.
That's exactly it. That's the power these ingredients have.
So the picture is pretty vibrant, lots of growth, exciting trends, but it can't all be smooth sailing, can it?
No, definitely not. And this is something cognitive market research really highlights. There are significant hurdles. A major one is the volatility of raw material prices,
Oh, okay. So the cost of the basic stuff keeps changing.
constantly and often unpredictably. We're talking about essentials like spices, herbs, various seasoning compounds.
What causes those prices to swing so much?
It's a mix of things.
Yeah.
External factors mostly, how good or bad the crop yields are in a given year.
Weather conditions, I imagine?
Big impact from weather, yes.
Yeah.
And then there's broader geopolitical instability that can affect trade and supply lines.
So how does that fluctuation actually, impact the companies making these savory ingredients?
Well, it can cause some serious disruption. Production schedules can get thrown way off.
Right.
Supply chains get strained. And, of course, it hits profitability directly.
Is it worse for certain types of companies?
It tends to hit the small and mid-sized manufacturers hardest. They usually have less of a financial cushion.
Less room to absorb sudden cost increases.
Exactly. Think about it.
Mm.
If there's a poor harvest for, say, a specific type of chili pepper in a key growing region,
Okay.
the price could easily spike,
Hmm.
double digits, maybe more. Then the producers are stuck.
What are their options?
Well, they either have to absorb those losses, which eats into their margins significantly,
Which they might not be able to afford.
right, or they pass those higher costs on to their customers, the food manufacturers,
Yeah.
and eventually maybe even us as consumers.
And passing costs on could hurt demand.
It could. It's a tough balancing act.
So this constant uncertainty, it must make planning ahead really difficult.
Incredibly difficult, especially long-term strategic planning. It just introduces a significant amount of risk into the whole equation.
Even though the overall market is full of opportunity and exciting flavors.
Precisely. It's this constant tension. You've got this flavor-rich, opportunity-laden industry on one hand,
Yeah.
but on the other, it's grappling with the fundamental volatility of agriculture, global events, unpredictable costs. It really shows how adaptable the industry has to be.
Okay, so let's try and pull this together. What we're seeing is a global savory ingredients market that looks set for pretty solid growth.
Driven by convenience? Absolutely. Our busy lives demanding quick solutions.
And also by this growing hunger for global tastes, right?
Yeah,
More adventurous palates.
definitely. But, and it's a significant but,
It has to constantly manage these tricky issues around pricing volatility,
and the unpredictability that comes with relying on agricultural supply chains around the world.
which I suppose is why understanding all this is actually quite important for, well, for you listening.
Exactly. Whether you're just curious about the food you eat every day,
Or maybe you work in the food sector, prepping for a meeting, perhaps.
or, you just want to be better informed about these forces that shape our world, often in ways we don't immediately see.
Yeah, the hidden engines, like we said at the start. Okay, so let's leave you with a final thought to chew on, so to speak.
Ah, nice one.
Consider this really complex global dance. Supply, demand, consumer desires, unpredictable events like weather or politics.
All swirling together.
And how all of that ultimately shapes the actual flavors you experience every single day. What might that mean for the future of what's on our dinner tables? And maybe ask yourself what really stands out to you about this whole intricate system.